Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mole in Hell, your Diablo 4 podcast. And you thought you got rid of me, huh? You thought I would not return. Well, you were wrong. Welcome back to Diablo 4, and more importantly, welcome back to Season 2. Well, not quite. Season 2 is coming out on the 18th of October, but Blizzard had their first 2-hour-long big live stream and another 2-hour live stream coming this Thursday, where they will probably mostly talk about classes and whatnot. So that is something we will not talk about today, because classes they haven't really talked about. But what they did talk about is they talked about Season 2, what to expect there, how they want to change endgame, and more importantly, how they want to fix all the issues they basically had since Season 1 and before that. So it's kind of fascinating, when you are looking at Diablo Season 2, you basically want to split up the Season 2 content and the fixes. I know that sounds like, wait, what? Well, because Season 2 content is Season 2 content, right? It is something new. It is the stuff which will make you return because, well, it is new content. And then we have all the things which finally fix the issues Diablo 4 has been carrying around for months at this point, and people have been waiting for just getting rid of it, like horses finally get a huge do-over. The gem system will be reworked. Then they talk about how they will do the end game, how they will do the nightmare dungeons, how they will do the hell tides and whatnot, the world bosses. Like, there are so many things right now which are just not fun and wasting a lot of your time, that they can finally say, okay, you know what, with Season 2 there are a lot of fixes coming in and they are important to happen. I don't want to downplay the fixes. I don't want to look at the fixes and say, oh look, it's just fixes. Ugh. No, what I want to say is, look at that. They're finally fixing the things which is boring. Plus, on top of that, we are finally getting new content. But let's face it, Diablo 4 has been hurting for quite some time. And to make this very clear, no, this is not a podcast where I would just complain about Diablo 4, where I would just complain about Blizzard. Far from it. Most of the time we would talk a lot about positive aspects here, but I want to take a minute here at least to just talk about this whole thing of how did we got here and why was this so unnecessary. I still believe that the season model Blizzard is now going for, it's pretty standard, and they are definitely trying to copy Destiny. Like, if you were comparing Destiny and Diablo 4 season and how they are managing them and what they are planning with the expansions and all that, you immediately realize, okay, you looked at Destiny, you saw it was pretty successful, and you were just like, let's copy it 1-to-1. And that's fine. But because of that, we have seen that in Season 1, right? Like, there were a lot of initial issues coming in, a lot of things were broken, and when people were like, hey, Blizzard, like the horses. Let's take the horses, right? The horses finally get a do-over. If you've missed it, they will be faster. They can now, crash through barricades, so you will not be stopped by barricades anymore. When you demount manually or through attacks, your cooldowns will be much, much, much lower on the horse. I think it's between 5 seconds for the normal demount and 3 seconds for when you use an attack, right? And they're finally doing also something for the PC players. That maneuvering with mouse and keyboard is not a hassle anymore. So, great, right? Amazing, awesome. It was a pain in the ass. It was a pain in the ass. The thing is, that fix probably was already done 2 or 3 months ago. I guarantee you that fix for the horses was lying around for quite some time, and they just decided, hey, you know what? we would not fix this before season 2 is not coming around. I'm like, oh no, don't do that. Another thing, XP boost, right? They definitely slowed down how you get XP in Diablo 4, and people were just pissed at that in season 1 because it was already slow and unnecessary, especially when the game told you that, oh, tier 3, you are done with that. Cool. You were best in slot, right? Yep, best in slot. Just killed the warden for tier 4, and I'm ready to go tier 4. No, you're not. What? No, I have best in slot equipment from tier 3. I defeated the dude. Like, I will go tier 4 now. No, you are still missing 6 levels. You will get annihilated in tier 4. So you will now farm 6 more levels in a tier you really don't have to be just to get like the last few XP on your Paragon board and be also closer with the levels. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, really? It was so annoying, right, for so many things. Yes, I know you could just skip that, you could just do something else. I get it. I have done it. But it makes it so much more of a hassle than it has to be. And thankfully, by the end of season 1, Blizzard was like, okay, we've normalized the XP gain again. We actually gave you 20% more XP now with the latest patch. And now with season 2, we are getting, what was it, another 45% more XP or something? They're definitely speeding up the leveling experience. And I'm like, yeah, finally. But you could have done that sooner, right? Like, to basically give up on season 1 like they did. Like, that Blizzard gave up on season 1 became clear when they announced season 2, what? 2 weeks into season 1? I think it was about 2 weeks. They announced it at the Summer Games Fest, right? Or not Summer Games Fest. I think it was it Gamescom? No, it was Summer Games Fest, wasn't it? They announced it so early, and you know that's not how Blizzard operates. Blizzard likes to wait for the hype, and they like to wait for being closer to the actual release, and that they actually decided to just 2 weeks into season 1 going, hey folks, season 2 is coming, it will be awesome, forget everything you know about season 1, yay. It's like, uh-oh, that's never a good sign. So, I know I said this at the beginning of season 1, but they shouldn't have done season 1. Season 1 shouldn't have existed in the first place, and it would have been fine. But here we are. I hope they learned their lessons. I hope we are finally getting more nice content, and it seems like we are on a good path. Because what they have been showcasing sounds fantastic. They talked about how they want to change the end game in particular, right? So, as I said, before season 2, the whole system was World Tier 1 and 2, which was level 1 to level 50, and then you would do the capstone dungeon. From level 50 to level 70, you would be World Tier 3, you would do the Hell Tides, you would do the Nightmare dungeons from Tier 1 to 20, and you would still do the World Bosses / Legion events. And then, of course, there would be the capstone dungeon number 2. And then you would go into World Tier 4, and you were wondering, like, okay, so I'm now World Tier 4. What do I get on top of this? Oh, there's the Echo of Lilith at level 100. Wait, what? Yeah, there's the Echo of Lilith. Okay, cool. What else? What do you mean? Well, what else can I do in Tier 4? Oh no, that's it. Oh, Okay, well then I guess I'm going back into my Nightmare Dungeons. Yay! By the way, Nightmare Dungeons will get a big rework. You will get more XP for your runes. Oh, finally, I hated that. The amount of Nightmare Dungeons you had to do just to get like a good set of runes you can put into your Paragon board. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I know for the hardcore players, that wasn't really a big deal, who like finished their Nightmare Dungeons with cookie cutter builds in like 4 or 5 minutes, and they would run like a 20 dungeons in an hour or so. That was a joke for them. But let's say somebody who would still do the Nightmare Dungeons but would be a little bit more careful, a little bit more slower. It wasn't really a great experience, wasn't it? And now, thankfully, they are also adding more to it. Like they want to make the Hell Tides more powerful, making it better for you to get items from there. You still have to go into the Nightmare Dungeons to upgrade your... I call them runes, they're sigils. Dingus. Right, you still have to do that, but hey, right? We are getting 2 new bosses in World Tier 3. We get Echoes of Varshan, and then we are getting Gregor, the Galvanic Saint. So those are the 2 new bosses we are basically getting. We can farm a little bit, which is always nice. And then World Tier 4 is where it gets really interesting. So everything stays as it is, right? Like nothing big changes here at all. But they're adding 4 new bosses to all of this. They're adding, well, not adding, Echoes of Varshan and Gregory is still there. But they are also adding the Beast in the Ice, Lord Zir, which is the vampire lord you are fighting in the story, but he will also be its own boss. And then there is basically Duriel, King of Maggots, which is the same thing as Lilith. So you have now 2 endgame bosses, which is nice. So I'm definitely all for this, right? It's this, yes, please give me something to do. Please, I'm begging you, give me something to do, right? And it seems like they are finally doing that. They upgrade the Hell Tide. Well, there will be a new Vampire Tide, a Vamp Tide. What do they call them? Damn it, they have a name for it. It's not as stupid as my name, but I just call it a Vampire Tide. It's the same thing as a Hell Tide. It's just with vampires. That is coming specifically in the Season of Blood. Then, of course, you're following the story on Lord Zir. We don't really know much about the vampire abilities. They talked about it briefly, that you have to make pacts with certain vampire lords and then you get their blessing. And they showed the interface. It reminded me a little bit of if you have ever played a druid, where you have to choose like which animal you make a pact with to get like 2 points in there and all that. They're doing something similar. It looks different, but mechanic wise, it seems to be the same thing. And again, I'm cool with that. Like, yeah, sure. We will see how it really changes, because that was the problem with Season 1. When you are looking right now at Season 1 and the Malignant thingy, there wasn't really like a lot of choices you could choose from, and it didn't really make like a big difference too much. Yeah, sure, it gave some of the abilities which were left in the dust a little bit of extra power, and that was pretty cool. But long story short, did it really make a big difference? Nah. So we will see what the vampire powers do. And we will find out about that, hopefully on Thursday exactly, when they are also talking about the class, not reworks, I don't want to call it reworks, but balance changes. Right? Because right now, there is a problem with a lot of builds. We have quite a bit of builds for Diablo 4. But you realize very quickly when you are looking, let's say, at the Necromancer builds, the difference between the builds is like 1 or 2 abilities are different, but anything else is the same a lot. There are, of course, some distinct builds to make that absolutely clear. There are some distinct builds which are different, but it's not that much, because the reality is we are limited to the talent trees we have, and they're not very big, right? So we have a limited amount we can do, and I'm hoping that thanks to I will call them that. They are not that exactly, but I would call them the vampire talent trees. I am hoping we are getting more out of it. Like season 2 looks really promising. Season 2 looks really promising. They are fixing the gem thing. If you've missed it, well, fixing it. It's so typical Blizzard. Like, something really must have been screwed up with the interface and everything which is ending up in the interface. So let me explain how this works. In Season 2, you will not get gems anymore. Gems still exist, by the way. But you will not get gems anymore. You would just find gem dust, gem powder. And that crafting material will go basically into your crafting material pouch, right? And when you then decide you need a gem, you go to the crafter, you give them the dust, and he will create a gem for you. That gem is still in your inventory. It will still be in your bank. Because Blizzard cannot, through technical limitation it seems, move the gems into a gem pouch or move them somewhere where they are not in your way. So if you have hundreds and thousands of gems lying around, they will still lie around. They will still be in your way. But new gems, you can now decide when you want to craft them. So probably the best solution to all of this will be throw away all the gems, sell them, do whatever you like with them. No, not that. No, stop it. I know what you were thinking. Don't. But you throw them away or get rid of them, and then you will probably just start to run around with gem dust in your pouch, right? So that's an improvement, but also shows like the technical limitation Blizzard is fighting with. And I mean, let's be real here. We know that Diablo must have some horrible technical limitations when they explain to us why they cannot give us more inventory space, why they cannot give us a bigger chest, because, well, that would put a strain on the servers and probably on your PC, because you are scanning the inventory and you are scanning all the chests of all the other players around you. And when people heard that, they were like, wait, what? Why is it necessary that I have to know what's in the chests of the other 20 players in my areas? Why do I have to know that? That you have to know that? Makes sense. Totally understand that. But why do I have to know it? I cannot just go into my chest, pick an item, throw it on the ground, and everyone can pick it up. I cannot even trade with people. So, why is that a necessity? Again, I'm asking that question because Blizzard is not explaining it. So it's like, huh? Like, there are some weird technical limitations, but yeah. But Season 2, vampires. 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 Would have been a great time for another class. No, who am I kidding? We would not get any other class till the expansion is coming out. Like, I think people finally have to come to terms to what the seasons will be in Diablo 4. I see that people look at other games, and seasons in other games are sometimes expansions. Path of Exile, wonderful example, right? That's basically their way of doing kinder expansions. Fortnite, or a game I'm playing quite a bit, is Teamfight Tactics, TFT, right? So what they are doing is every 6 months, they have a big expansion, a big season coming out, and every 3 months they have like an in-between season. So let me just give you a super easy example to understand this. Let's say you're in season 2. 3 months in, season 2.5 is coming out, with changing around some of the units, with getting some new units, some new items, but it's relatively small. It's still on the same theme as the main season is, and this is why it is season 2.5. And then another 3 months later, the actual new season starts with season 3, right? Which is a completely new theme, completely new units, completely new items, yada, yada, yada. Everything changes. And it's super impactful when that happens. Diablo is not doing that. Diablo is following, as I said before, the Destiny season format and expansion format. So they have their seasons, then every once a year or 1.5 years, we will get an expansion or like a big super season, whatever you want to call it. And then probably every 2 or 3 years, we will get like a mega expansion, so to speak. Right? Like, if you want to know how it will go down, just look at Destiny. Literally. Just look at Destiny, how it works. And you will immediately go, oh, that's Diablo 4. Okay. Again, not really a problem with that, but I think people have some different expectations. And they have some wrong expectations, I think, which leads up to disappointment, right? So I'm not saying, to make that very clear, I'm not saying that the seasons could be better. So far, the seasons have been relatively lackluster. But nonetheless, they are exactly that. And that is fine. Right? You just have to expect that. But so far, from everything I have seen in those 2 hours, and I have to admit, it was a long 2 hours. There were definitely some moments where I blipped out because I was also preparing some food. I was watching it then again next day, but it was still like, 2 hours, man. 2 hours. Oof. That was just a lot. That was just a lot. So I'm still very much looking forward to the game, to the season update. I'm optimistic. I'm positive about season 2. Like, I know there will be doom and gloom videos out there, especially from certain channels who don't do anything else. But, because clicks, yay. But I'm looking forward to season 2. And if everything works out as they have showed us so far, there will be definitely more Diablo 4 videos again on the channel. I will gladly put some more hours into Diablo 4, because the reality is, one of the reasons why I stopped doing that was just I couldn't justify it. I felt bored. Shit, I didn't finish my season pass. I used my free season pass on. I didn't even finish that because, frankly speaking, I couldn't care less. It's like, it wasn't enough. I was actually playing some of my other non-season characters. Think about that for a second. Crazy, right? So, yeah, the season 1 definitely left me wanting, and I'm looking forward to season 2. I will definitely give you an update probably next week when we had the big stream on Thursday. Maybe I will do a video on Friday or something like that, right? Because, yeah, it will be a lot, and it will be another 2 hours. And this time it seems like they mostly want to talk about classes. And maybe they even, oh my god, can you imagine? Maybe, just maybe, because it's a season of blood, maybe we can talk about PvP. No, too early. Okay, sorry, my mistake. I thought we could. No, okay. Oh well. But I will keep you posted. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. There will be more videos in the next few days, as always. Keep in mind, I'm also running some other YouTube channels here on YouTube. Yes, I'm running a React channel. I'm running a Let's Play channel where I'm also doing my streams. And my joy and pride is the Mole Under Management channel. You should check out. It's a channel which is completely focusing on strategy games, management games, building games, that kind of category. And that channel has been growing like crazy. Like, it's absolutely amazing to see the strategy community being still alive and kicking, and we are finally getting more games, right? I'm so happy about that. Good quality games. So if you love strategy games in any shape or form, or management building games, check out the Mole Under Management channel. You will find a link down below in the video description. And if not, well, I will see you for more Diablo 4 and some other RP games here on the channel very soon. Till then, have a good one. Stay safe.